In this video, we're going to focus on how we can create these stock projection lines here, where one is going up, where we have like a bull market, a bear market, and a standard expectation or projection. So to do this, the first thing what we need is our border template, which you can find here on chartjs, 3.com getting started. Once you're on here, copy this chunk of code and you're good to go. Next, if you want to get the source code of this video and many others, check out my Patreon page and of course, join the Discord channel if you have any question. All the links are in the description box. So we're going to scroll down here, and the first thing what I want to do here is we can create this. Let's convert it into a line chart. And if we do this, this will be like that. But what we need to have is a lot more space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a linear X scale. So basically it's a scatter chart. You could say it's a scatter chart with a slightly different structure, because a scatter chart would have dots all over, while this one would be in a sequence. So what I'm going to do here, go to X scale, comma, and then I'm going to say a type. And for the type, I'm going to say here linear. And once I did that, I want to say as well, begin at 0. Let's save that, and then let's make this congruent, because right now these numbers are not correct. So what I want to do is for the X, I'll make it 0, and then for the Y, I'll put here, let's say number 3, comma, and just copy all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a couple of them. So once we have a bunch, these labels here can be ignored because we have a linear scale now with numbers. But this one should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here, I'll just do some random numbers. And let's say here 9, 6, this is 12. And then here again 6. Save that, refresh, there we are. So now we have this. What I want to do next, and this could be for a stock market where we have the stock numbers, but this is just for simplicity's sake. I want to make sure we have here enough space or additional space. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to scroll down and I will say here, put a comma, we start at 0 or start at whatever the stock market value would be. And then we say here the max value would be whatever that one is in the future. But in this case, I'll just say, let's make it 15. There we are. So now you can see here we have tick number 15. And then here for the height, I would like to have a higher value as well for the Y scale. So we say here comma, and then we say here max for this. Let's say 30. So depending on how you project this, it could be a very good stock or not. Anyway, once we have these here, we have to now start working on the line projection. And we have a few things here. We want to have started line where we have like a bull market where we expect that it goes up. We have one with a bear where it goes down, and we have a standard expectation with an average growth of X%, whatever. I will not go too deep into the financials, but we have 3 different lines. First thing what I want to do here, say comma, say plugins. And then for the plugins, I'm going to say this will be our projections. So then I'm going to make this plugin here. I say constant projections equals the ID of projections, which is a string value, and then say here before, we can say here before data sets draw. And why before? Because I want to make sure it's behind the data set, but we could do it after. It's one or the other. We can see later on. Say chart, arcs, and plugin options. Once we did this, I'm going to say here constant, and we're going to do an object destructuring. In this case, our object destructuring will have a few items. Number 1, the CTX. We want to draw on the canvas. We want to have the data because I want to get the last value of the data here eventually. This will be very important. And then we have maybe the chart area because we want to have the ending and specifically the right side. I need to know what is the pixel coordinate of the right side here. And then what we have as well is the scales, very important. We're going to use the X and Y scale for this. So then what I want to do is, the first thing what I want to do is I want to know how many data points we have. And the reason why is I want to get the last data point. So we can start from here because we're going to draw the line from this point up and then mid somewhere and then down. So what I'm going to do here, I'll say here, I guess constant, or let me just show you. We do a console log. And you can say your data. And if we do this, refresh, open up the developer tab, you can see here we get the information, we get the data sets here. And then what I want to do here is just get the data here. So we have here the length would be 7 minus 1. So we have index number 6. That's basically what I want here. So we're going to say here dot data sets as we follow the path of our object dot data dot length minus 1, and this will be of course our constant of length. So we're going to put in this here. So once we did this, what we can do now is basically get the value here, and more specifically, let's copy this, do your console log. I just want to grab the value here. So if I say here the length, then dot x, we should get here whatever the value is, that is number 6. All right, and if we say y, this is very important for us, we get number 6 as well. All right, fair enough, because they're both 6 if I'm not mistaken. There we are. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create the line. So let's start to draw the line, and then later on we're going to assign color to the line. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say ctx.save to save all variables above. Then I'm going to say here ctx dot begin path. I'm going to create a shape, which is basically a line that is independent of anything else. Next, what I want to do is, once we have that line, we should have the color matching background as well, but I will cover that later on. So let's start to draw the line first. So I'm going to say here ctx.stroke style, and we're going to give this a green color, or more specifically, let's grab this color that I have here. This is the border color. That's a greenish color, so I'll take that one. Then what I want to do is I want to draw, or let's define the thickness of the line. So say ctx.line width, and this will be 3 pixels for now, and later on we will fine tune it. Then what I want to do is I want to have the x and y coordinate of this specific item. So to get this, what we can do here is ctx.move to, this is the starting point, and here I'm going to use a built-in functionality and use this as well. So I'm going to say here ctx, oh no, sorry, not ctx, we say chart get data set meta, and basically this indicates that we're going to get the data set index 0. We're going to get the details from this, and this gives us all the pixel coordinates. And basically what I want here, dot data, and then I want to get the pixel coordinate of this position here of x and y. How do we do that? We'll say here the length, that's why we did it like this. Then we say here dot x. Then what we want to do as well, because this move to requires an x and y coordinate. So that would mean I can do this for x, and I can do this one, but then correct this with a y, and then we get the y coordinate as well. Beautiful, and this works right away. So now we have this. What I want to do now is I want to have this line going here somewhere. Let's say number 24. So to do that, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say here ctx.line 2, and then I'm going to say x and y coordinate again. But now, remember we have the chart area, we have the right, that's this line here on the scale. So I'm going to grab this, and this will be our horizontal controlling, or horizontal positioning basically. So that's this coordinate, and this coordinate is a pixel coordinate, so that makes it very easy for us. So then, what I want to do here is I want to get as well the value. So let's assume that if we have a bull market, which means a very positive market is growing, we want to hit 24. The stock will go up to 24. For this, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just get the data. And what I'm going to say here, chart.get data set. Let's see, am I correct on this? No, sorry, I am not correct, because when I need this, I need the right position. So I'm going to say here, y dot get pixel for the value. That's the one I need, sorry. So how do I get this y? This y here is from this object destructuring here. So we just get access to the scale and just say convert whatever the value we have for the y scale into the pixel coordinate. In this case, I want to get 24, that's here. Well, let's get 25 for the sake of it, because it's easy to follow this line. So we can confirm it immediately. Let's do this. And once we did this, I'm going to say ctx.stroke to draw the line. Save, refresh, there we are. And we have even this movement here that is absolutely awesome. Alright, so now we have this. What I would like to do next is basically we should go down here, then here, and draw this area from our starting point of this last number. This is all gain or positive, and everything under would be red, but this one would have a background of green. So let's start to do that as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just continue on, but I will continue on after the stroke, meaning that we still have these shapes here in memory, but we are not going to draw a line anymore because I want to have a filler, basically a background. So I'm going to create a shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this point all the way here. So we have this matching line here. So what I'm going to say here is ctx.line2. And once I did the line 2 here, what I want is, I want the right side still, but for the y, instead of this, I want to get the y of this. Basically, we just create a straight line here. So once I did this, save, you will not see anything changes. However, if I move this down, you will see now the visual of this line going down here. There we are. And then of course I want to close this. So what we could do here is the following. I'm going to say ctx.close path to close the shape, save, refresh. So that looks all nice, but I don't want, of course, this line here. I want this line gone. This should not be visible, but this triangle should be filled up with a background color, and that's basically what I'm trying to show you here. So I'm going to say this goes back in here, save, refresh. There you are. You see now it's gone, but now I'm going to say here ctx.fill. So it will fill up the space with a color that we have to assign. So what I'm going to assign with this is the color that we have here, and then what we can do here, ctx.fill style. We do this, but we want to make sure that it has a transparency of 0.2. Save, refresh. Beautiful. So now we have our first line. What I want to do is I want to do a next line as well, but how can we control this? Because I don't want any user to touch these things here, because that will always go wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this for the user. And this is why we have the plugins and the ID name of projection. So pay attention. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to scroll down here, and then after the skills, I'm going to put a comma, and then we say here plugins, and then this is the plugins object for legend, tooltips, and the title. But now I have created my own projections object. Don't get confused with this one here down. This is different because this is to load the plugin, and this one here is giving it advanced features for user-friendly options. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to create 3 different lines. That was specifically the question here. So I'm going to say here the bool. For the bool, we're going to control the color. So I'm going to say background color. And this would be anything. I'll just put in here red for now. This should not be red. But anyway, or let's grab this color here. For the bool, this will be the line, if I'm not mistaken. Well, for background color, it should be a transparency. Then we can say here border color. That's the one. And then we can say here, what can we have more is probably the border width, the thickness of the line. I'll make this 3. And then we can say here the Y projection. I will call it the Y projection because it controls the vertical level. So it's a Y projection. And the Y projection was 25. What I want to do as well, just another one, is do we have this, or do we want to show it yes or no? Because I don't want to show it by default unless the user tells or commands it, please show. So I say display, we set this on true or false. It needs to be set on true or else it will not be shown. Very simple. Alright, so now we have this here, and we can do the same logic for everything else. So I'm going to do here, that's one more and then one more here. So this is the base, that is like standard estimates. Here, we're going to do bare if we have a very negative situation. And for the bare, I will give it a red color. And I'm just going to grab this color here. I know this is a red color. So I'm going to put in here the bare. Put it like that. And then, of course, I want to make sure they have a transparent background. And then for the base, we can just use a black color or blue color. Doesn't matter really. I'm just going to get this black color here. Very simple and straightforward. I'm going to put that in there. And I'll say here 0.2 For the, that's fine, and border. To be honest, for this background color here, I think transparency is more appropriate, but I'll show you later on why. Alright, so now we have all of this here. Save this, let's say the base would be a standard growth, maybe to a value of 10. And then we have here the bear would be a negative, or it would be a decline from 6. Let's put it down to number 3. Let's save that, refresh. Nothing happens yet. Why? We have to build this still. So what I'm going to do here up is all of these information that we have here, these need to be converted into a constant variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say constant, and let's say here the bool background color. And the bool background color would be, how do we get access to this here? Well, chart.js understands the ID, so plugins. It understands that this plugin would be connected to this ID, and then we can go deeper and deeper to bool or something. So let me show you. We're going to say here, to get the bool background, I'm going to say here plugins dot. I don't have to say projections. It understands the ID's projections. Then all I have to look is from projections inwards, we want a bool dot background color, exactly as how it's written here with the capital C. So that's what we're going to do here. Bool dot background color. And once I did this, I can say here, for example, this background color here for the bool, save, refresh, it is still green. If I make this any other color, let's confirm this, red, there we are. So it understands this. What I would like to do next then, of course, is give it a default color. So what happens if we don't have a color assigned to it? Well, very simple. I want to say here, if there's no color, I'm going to grab the default color, which is this, and I'll just make this 0.2. Right now, it's just exactly the same. It could be red or whatever. But this would make sense. So once you understand this logic, we can apply this for each of these. So I'm going to continue on and do the follow ones as well. So I say here, instead of bool background color, this will be bool border color, and the border color is solid 1, and here we're going to say here border color. Let's grab that and say border. Alright, then we have another one here. We could say here the line width, the bool, and that was border width. Alright, bool border width will be by default 3 pixels if nothing is specified. Or let's make this even 1 pixel if we don't specify the border width. And finally, I think we can get the y projection, which is the expected value. So we say bool y projection. Grab that, and then I think here the y projection would be this with a small y. There we are, y, and then that's it. And the y projection here, I have no idea what would be the default here, but I'll just put in a number. There should not even be a default. I believe that the user should fill up this, but I'll just leave it like this so we have something in here. Alright, so now we have all of this. What I want to do now is build a function that we can draw this line, because we have to do the same for every other item. So what I'm going to do here, we have this save here, and then I can just say here maybe ctx.restore to undo whatever we did here. And then we can say here, this will be a new function, and this function will be the line or projection line, and this projection line will have all of these items in here. Cut, paste. So now we have this here. So what I want to do now is this projection line function should run. However, what I do want is there's a condition. Display should be equal to true, or else we will not run this function line, or this line specifically for the bool background. So how do we do this? We can say here if, we can say here maybe just plugins dot bool dot display equals true. If this is equals true, we're going to run this function. And then this function here will have a few items. Number 1, we should have the background color. So I can say here bg, or let's say background, let's be descriptive, background color. And this background color is basically the bool background color here, comma, what do we have more? And this background color can be set in here. The fill style will be the bool background color. That is now this parameter here. So for the stroke style, we had another one that will be the border color. And the border color is the bool border color. Put it in there, comma, and this border color in here. Then we're going to say here border width, comma, but let's say border width. What do we have more? The Y projection, and finally we have I think that's it. So let's see what we have more. Anyway, the border color, border width. So we say here background color, border width, Y projection can be in here. Yeah, that is correct. And the reason why, because this is the last value that we have, and after that it goes back, so that looks all fine. So then I'm going to say this Y projection is the bool Y projection. So it's bool Y projection. There we are. The border width will be the bool border width. Alright, I think we've got everything. Let's see if this works. Doesn't work. The bool border width is not defined. Let's see here. The bool border width. Make sure you have here the proper cattle case or camel case casing. That's what I forgot. My bad. There we are. That works. Alright, so now we have this one here. What I want to do next is just build the other one. We can do that quite fast now. So you can say here, this will be the bear display, and this will be just all bear. Very straightforward. Bear, 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 bear. And then I'll just do it here as well. We're just going to grab this. This will be all bear. And then we just have to make sure we change the color and, if ever, the values. So bear, bear, bear. Alright, that's it. Then what I want to do is for the color, because it's a red color, I'm going to grab this color here. I know this is the red color. And we're just going to add this in here. And make sure 0.2. Then we're going to do another one here. Save, refresh. Alright, beautiful. And you can see here the color matches nicely. So we're going to do a base. That's the last one. Let's copy this. And then I'm going to put in here, and we just say the base or the standard expected value. Base, base, base. Same logic. For the base, I'll just use the black color here. Let's do this. And then I said here, this should be normally transparent. I'm going to just show you here an example why this is. And I see here I should do here proper semicolons. Alright, let's save that. Then I go down here and copy all of this. Put that in there. This is the base. 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 And the base. Save. Refresh. There we are. As you can see here, I don't like this so much, because this is still considered a profit. So I think it should be green, but that's up to you, of course. So what I want to do is, for example, if we don't have this specified, you can see it becomes black. So I need to specify it, and we'll specify it as transparent. So we'll go up here and say our base background color, or as you can see here, it was already set, but I want to say here, this is transparent. Save that. Refresh. There we are. That looks much better. And now we have this here. And there's still a lot more we can do, but I'll make another video for that.